Thank you, Mr Speaker. My question is to the Treasurer. Will the Treasurer update the House on how the government is building a stronger and more sustainable budget? How important is it to the government budget repair strategy to economic growth and jobs?
Good question. I call the Treasurer.
Thank you, Mr Speaker, and I thank the member for Trobe for his question, and I commend him on his great advocacy on the Monash Freeway. Mr Speaker, the government is establishing a strong platform for jobs and growth in our economy by backing Australians who are out there working and saving, investing every day and wanting simply a system and support that backs them into the decisions that they're making. Now, Australians are responding positively to this, Mr Speaker, as the Prime Minister has just said, in what Bill Evans described today as a cracking result on the Westpac Melbourne Institute Index. We now have more optimists than we do pessimists in this country about our economy, and that is a good thing, Mr Speaker. And that is backed up. There are more optimists than pessimists in the chamber too, the Prime Minister reminds me. The optimists are on this side about the economy, Mr Speaker, and those on that side full of negativity, Mr Speaker. They're all in the blues on that side, Mr Speaker, about our economy because they can't see the opportunity that is there that Australians can see, and that's why they're responding. Now, that platform for growth, that platform for jobs in our economy has many components, and one of those is a stronger budget, Mr Speaker, and a stronger budget where we get control of expenditure. You've got to control expenditure to manage your budget, Mr Speaker, not as those opposite would do, simply seek to raise taxes to ensure revenue is higher than expenditure. On this side of the House, we believe in getting expenditure below revenue, and that's what we've been doing, Mr Speaker. Some $64 billion in expenditure savings since we were elected. Spending growth under this government has fallen from over 3% from what we inherited to 1.5%, Mr Speaker. The deficit is reducing by a rate on average around 0.5% of GDP each year, and that is what we remain on track to deliver. And from next year on, the net debt as a percentage of GDP will be falling, Mr Speaker. Now, that is what is happening on this side of the House. On the other side of the House, Mr Speaker, there is a very different path. If we had continued the trajectory of Labor's spending in government, over this budget and the forward estimates, it would be to the tune of almost $80 billion in additional expenditure, Mr Speaker. And this government, this is the government that is controlling our expenditure. But it's not just that, Mr Speaker, because as the Prime Minister was just saying, they have learnt nothing on that side of the chamber. The Shadow Treasurer has said this: we have a clear fiscal rule of more saves than spending. But as we learnt yesterday, they turned a $4.7 billion save on the family package into a $500 million save, and thinking it could actually pay for $3.5 billion worth of expenditure. But it's worse than that, Mr Speaker, because they have some $60 billion in commitments that are out there and only $5 billion to pay for them. Now, he said last night, you raise an extra dollar, you can only get to spend it once. They've spent it 12 times, Mr Speaker, 12 times. That's not the approach of this side of the House. We're controlling expenditure to ensure a stronger budget.